Hey guys, I'm Shani and this is Social Anxiety Confessions. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I have had a series on my channel for about 7 years called Social Anxiety Confessions, where I just talk all about my experiences as a person who grew up with social anxiety and selective mutism. I cannot believe it's been 7 years since I made my first social anxiety video on this channel. That's like so wild to think about. And over those 7 years, I have grown and changed and evolved so much as a person, let alone like as a person with social anxiety. Hey, I'm Shani. I'm Shani. I'm Shani. I'm Shani. And I have social anxiety. And I have social anxiety. I have social anxiety. This is Social Anxiety Confessions. This is Social Anxiety Confessions. This is Social Anxiety Confessions. Selective mutism. Why are you so quiet? Being braver. This is my Prozac. The awkward silence experiment. The art of avoiding people. I thought it would be kind of fun to look back at some of my first social anxiety videos, specifically the first one I ever posted on this channel called Things I Hate. Watch it, react to it, and maybe talk about all the ways I've changed and like things that might not have changed about myself. And I thought we could do that together. Also, it's like a really cold, rainy day in Los Angeles today, so I'm bundled up. It's a really cozy jacket. And then also, we have this electronic fireplace right here to keep things cozy, and then of course a cup of coffee, which is pretty much almost empty at this point, so I might have to do a refill later. Guys, let's jump right into this video. Okay, so the first video I'm going to react to is called Things I Hate. My first episode of Social Anxiety Confessions ever. It was uploaded 6 years ago. Let's see, July 26, 2014. When we get to July 2021, this will have been 7 years ago that I uploaded this video. Wow. I think anyone would change a lot in 7 years. But if you have social anxiety, I think that you really have the potential to grow and change a lot in 7 years if you're like doing certain things. Maybe if you're in therapy or if you are pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, even in the smallest ways, I think you have the potential to grow so much in 7 years. I feel like the first thing that really started to help me overcome my social anxiety and really take me over the edge was when I moved to Los Angeles and I fell in with a friend group, and it was my first time really being a part of a big friend group, 7+ people. Being with them, I would do things with them that I wouldn't have been doing otherwise. Like I would go to parties with them, I would go on these little random adventures with them, we would just do all these things, and through them I would meet even more people and I would have all of these experiences that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I met them by working on my first web series out here in Los Angeles that I acted in 2015. That was really the final push I needed to overcome my social anxiety. Anyway, let's watch this video. I'm just gonna like watch it and then pause it whenever I want to say something.
I'm Shani, and I have social anxiety.
Okay.
Things I hate. Elevators. I don't like riding in elevators with strangers because it's always awkward. Grocery stores. I don't like grocery stores because I feel like everyone's staring at me.
Oh my god, okay. How do I feel about elevators now? I remember when I filmed it, elevators used to make me so anxious because, you know, just that social situation of being in an elevator with strangers. I mean, it's not even a social situation, but elevators used to make me so anxious. They don't make me anxious anymore. They make me slightly, maybe the slightest bit uncomfortable. Actually, I do still find myself hoping that when an elevator door opens, there won't be anyone in there. I do honestly always hope that. So I guess I have a slight discomfort when it comes to riding in elevators with other people because I just don't like doing that. I feel like not that it's awkward, I just don't like it. But it doesn't make me anxious anymore. So I guess I've grown a little bit in that sense. But I still prefer to ride in an elevator by myself.
Grocery stores. I don't like grocery stores because I feel like everyone's staring at me. And I hate checkout lines because you have to talk to the cashier.
Okay, I no longer feel that way about grocery stores at all. A big part of social anxiety is the anxious feeling you get in certain situations. And I no longer get that anxious feeling when I'm at the grocery store. And I no longer get that anxious feeling when I'm in the checkout line. I do remember, this is bringing me back to how I would feel And I would feel so anxious at the store. I would feel so anxious at the checkout line just because I did not want to have those interactions. And I did not want to have to be around all those people in the store, and I didn't want to have to make eye contact with people. I didn't like any of it. Like, all of it made me so anxious. But now I feel fine at the grocery store, and I don't mind making eye contact with people. I don't even think about it. Nothing about grocery shopping makes me anxious anymore. I'm happy to make small talk in the checkout line with the cashier.
Crosswalks. I don't like crosswalks because I feel like all the people in the cars are just sitting there watching me cross the street.
It's not funny, it's really sad. Like, this video is actually bringing me back to how anxious I would feel doing all these things. Oh my god. Wow. Crosswalks don't make me anxious anymore. It's like, I don't feel anxious, but there is still that slight discomfort. I do notice still when I cross the street now that maybe people are looking at me, but like, I don't care anymore. That's the difference. The difference is I no longer care. And I think I said something about having to make eye contact with people as I'm crossing the street. I don't think about that anymore. Yeah, I don't think about it. I don't care. It doesn't scare me. The idea of having to come across people as I'm crossing the street does not scare me anymore.
And it's really uncomfortable. Those 10 seconds feel like 10 minutes. High school lunchrooms. I hated them. I loved high school, but I did not like high school lunchrooms or lunchtime because you have to eat in front of people, and I don't like eating in front of people.
This is a big thing, the eating in front of people. So I've always been weird about eating in front of people for two reasons. One big reason had to do with my eating disorder, but we won't talk about that too much. The other big reason was because of my social anxiety, and I just feel nervous eating with other people, because when you have social anxiety, you just feel like everyone's watching you, even though they are not. Like, I promise you guys, like 90% of the time, possibly even like more than 90% of the time, when you think other people are watching you or thinking about you, they're just not. Like, people have so many other things to worry about and think about and be concerned about, other than just thinking about like this random other person who's sitting near them or who's in their vicinity doing something like eating. Whether you're at a restaurant by yourself or in your high school lunchroom by yourself, like, people have their own stuff to think about. And it's hard to like convince yourself of that when you are struggling with social anxiety and you're in like the beginning of your journey of trying to overcome it. Like, it's not as simple as just telling yourself, oh, they're not thinking about me. I understand that, guys. It's not that simple. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's feelings, and even if I were to go into the past and tell my past self, no one's thinking about you, like, I wouldn't have believed it. It's just about, you feel anxious and it's just feelings, and you just truly believe that everybody's looking at you and thinking about you, and that's just not usually true. I mean, it could be true, but it's not usually true. But so that was one of the reasons why I struggled with eating in front of other people. But I don't struggle with that anymore. If I'm in a bad place mentally with my eating disorder, if I'm like in a period of time where I'm struggling a lot, during that, then I won't like eating in front of anybody. But when it comes to my social anxiety, I no longer feel anxious eating in front of people. I'll eat by myself on a curbside outside of a McDonald's. I will sit in a restaurant by myself. I will be on a date and eat with someone. If it's like a first date, I'll be nervous for obvious reasons, but like anything past the first date, I'm probably not gonna be that nervous eating in front of someone.
If you have a friend to sit with, that's another story, but there were so many times in high school where I had to walk into the lunchroom, didn't have anywhere to sit. Lunch was probably my least favorite time of the day.
I did make a video years and years ago on how I made friends in high school, and I do tell a story about how I was eating alone and there were some other girls eating alone. We were reading similar kinds of things, and one day, you know, I tell that whole story, so check out that video if you're interested.
I don't like first days of things. First days of school, first days of summer camp. If you're an actor, then first days on set, first day of anything.
Oh, first days. Guys, I had a first day like 3 days ago because I had a new job and I was going to be working on that set for 2 2 to 5 days. It ended up just being 2 days, but I had a first day. First days on set don't make me anxious anymore. First days of things do not make me anxious anymore. Well, I can think of a few that would. Like if I were to be working in an environment that I'm not extremely familiar with. I'm extremely familiar now with the whole on-set environment. If you were to throw me in like a Target and give me a badge and say it's your first day on the job, oh, I'd be a mess. I probably would just not even show up because I'm not familiar with working in that environment. When it comes to like the things I do for work, first days of things don't make me nervous. The other day I was acting in a film and it was my first day and I wasn't nervous at all. I was excited to finally get to meet all these people face to face who I'd just been corresponding with online. I was excited to get to talk to the producer and the director. I was excited to meet my fellow castmates, and I was excited to just jump in and start filming this project. So, wow guys, I've grown so much. But first days of school, wow, that used to make me so nervous.
Group work. I hate group work.
Oh, I used to hate group work so much.
It is my least favorite thing.
I feel like that's not just a social anxiety thing. Like some people honestly work better on their own, and I feel like I have a lot of issues with like the schoolings, certain aspects of the schooling system, and I don't think that kids should all be forced to learn the exact same way because not everyone learns the same way. Anyway, I've always been a really independent person and an independent worker and an introvert, and I'm the oldest sibling, so I had a few years of being an only child, and I've just always been good at doing things by myself, and a lot of times I prefer to do things by myself. So not everyone likes group work. Teachers. I hate job interviews. I've been to about 6 in my life so far, and each one has been scary, and even though I have felt like I was talking more than I usually talk and being as talkative as I could, the people that are interviewing me always think that I'm quiet, which makes me really frustrated and angry. When it comes to people always thinking you're quiet when you have social anxiety, I think that's something I still struggle with internally. Like, I don't want people to think I'm quiet, and it's still something I feel like I worry about. I think that when you have social anxiety, you do this thing where you like try to overcompensate sometimes because you don't want someone to comment and say, oh, why are you so quiet? So you overcompensate. I realize that I do that like a lot of times just in a social situation. I will overcompensate by trying to be overly talkative or overly social, and you know, I don't think that's necessarily necessary, and I shouldn't feel like I have to do that, but I've noticed that that is something that I do. And oftentimes you can do that and people will still say you're quiet, which I don't get it, guys. I don't know. In terms of the job interview thing, the only job interview I ever have to do in my life is an audition because I'm an actor. First few months of auditioning, I was really nervous, but when you're an actor, auditioning is a part of the job. Every month, every year, you'll do so many that after doing a certain amount, it'll no longer really make you nervous. For certain auditions where the stakes are really high, like I want it really bad, or it's a really big project, or there are a lot of people in the room, because maybe it's a callback with the writer, producer, director, all these people are in the room, those situations will make me nervous. But for the most part, auditioning doesn't really make me nervous. If I had to do a job interview for working at Target or working at Taco Bell or working at a job that's not film industry related, I would get really, really, really nervous. And I would probably start telling myself all these things that aren't necessarily true, and I would just psych myself out. Public eating places. If I'm sitting in a public eating place and someone sits down across from me, I would rather throw away the rest of my food than eat it in front of them, because eating in front of people is like torture. Well, we talked about this, but also that would be weird if I was like eating in a public mall or something and someone sat right across from me. There were times where people would do that, and that would be annoying. I think even now, if I'm eating in public, I'm not gonna want a stranger to sit like directly across from me. Like, please don't do that. That's just like, why would you do that to somebody? Is that just a social anxiety thing? Or is that just an anybody thing? Like, do you want a stranger sitting across from you? eating their food while you eat your food. Okay, I guess maybe if you're a really social person and you're an extrovert, maybe you'll be like all excited because you get to have a conversation while you eat your food with this random person. No thanks. Hotel breakfast rooms. That speaks for itself. I don't like public gyms because I'm there walking on my treadmill trying to exercise, but I can't because I feel like everyone's staring at me. I mean, why can't we all just exercise in our own personal spaces? Why can't we all just focus on ourselves? I don't know. Well, everyone is probably focusing on themselves, but if you have social anxiety, you probably think other people are focusing on you, which I totally thought that too. And this is a situation where I kind of still feel that way. Sometimes when I'm at the gym, that's one place where I do still feel very self-conscious. Honestly, sometimes I think people are watching you at the gym, so I don't know. I'm not 21 yet, but I was in Canada a few months ago. Oh, I wasn't even 21 yet. Oh my god, I'm such a baby. Guys, I'm 27 now. Wow.
And in Canada, the drinking age is 19. Though I did not drink, I did go in a lot of bars with my friends, and I hated them because I don't really like being around large groups of people.
This is
I
a
don't
good
like
one.
socializing, and I don't like dancing in front of people, and that's what bars are all about.
Ah!
So yeah, I don't.
Oof, this is a good one. Bars. Pre-COVID, like right before COVID, I was going to bars by myself on the regular. It hadn't always been like that, and it's like weird thinking back to my life pre-COVID and trying to, because things are just so different right now, and like I wasn't in a relationship back then, and I am now. Okay, it is my first relationship, by the way. I might talk more about that later. If you guys want me to, comment below whether it's on the topic of social anxiety or dating or anything like that. Let me know if you want me to make a video on a specific topic, and you know, I might get around to it. Okay, pre-COVID, I was going out a lot by myself. Okay, now it's coming back to me. So I'd recently come out and I was trying to meet more queer people, so I was going to all of these queer spaces. I was also just, I don't know what it was, but I just was in this place where I was just wanting to be out and around people more, and so I would just I started going to all these comedy shows that would happen at bars. I would go to a few these places that would show indie bands, these small like bars that were also performance venues, and I would go to comedy shows and I would see live music, and I would go to queer events. It was those three things, and I would always go by myself. It was complicated for me because oftentimes I would go to these places and a lot of times I wouldn't talk to anyone, I wouldn't interact with anyone. Sometimes I would be okay with that, and other times I would get really frustrated because I wasn't this super outgoing person. I'm still not in certain situations, but I would always wish someone would come up to me and just start talking to me. And oftentimes that wouldn't happen. 90% of the time that would not happen, unless it was like the host of the event. I remember feeling frustrated, like I was going out to all these places and I was in all of these crowded rooms around all these people, but I still felt lonely. That was something I was majorly struggling with pre-pandemic, like right leading up to the shutdown. And I remember right before COVID happened, I was going to make a whole video on this topic, and now it feels so irrelevant because there are no crowded rooms anymore, and you can't go out to bars right now, at least not in Los Angeles. But I was going to all these crowded rooms and I was feeling lonely, and it was really hard to talk to people, but I still kept going out, and I did really like the feeling of being out. You know, I had friends, but I just didn't always like want to text people like, you want to go here tonight, and in Los Angeles everybody's busy and everyone's pursuing their careers and just has a lot going on, so I didn't always want to just wait for people to be available and to want to go to the exact same place I wanted to go to. So I would go by myself. And I think that's really cool, first of all, but I do remember like having these feelings of frustration at the same time. But on the comment of bars, that was a long answer to me just wanting to say I love bars, I love the atmosphere of them. I've had my last few birthday parties at bars with my friends. I'm getting more and more comfortable with dancing in front of other people, though that still makes me nervous and I'm still really self-conscious about it. The girl that I'm dating is actually extremely comfortable with dancing, not only dancing in front of other people, but just dancing in general. And so that's honestly helped me a lot. Talking on the phone, one of my least favorite things. I don't do it ever unless I absolutely have to. It scares me. I still don't love talking on the phone, but I don't think it makes me quite as anxious as it used to. Definitely have a phone phobia. Skype. If I have to do a Skype call with somebody, like my boss, or even if it's a friend, I will try anything I can to avoid it. I absolutely positively hate Skype. I hate Skype. It's so scary to me. I don't feel as anxious about video calls as I used to, but I still don't love them. But, you know, the pandemic has made it become more a part of my life. I attended a Zoom party. I have had some Zoom hangouts with friends. Oh my god, I had a Zoom callback audition. Now that made me really anxious. Zoom auditions are not my favorite thing, guys, but they're a part of life now. Oh, I've had to have Zoom meetings with potential clients, which I do not like, but for some reason people really like to have Zoom meetings now as opposed to just phone calls. When it comes to like talking with someone they might want to hire for a freelance thing. I hate being called shy. Which is unfortunate because most of the time not a day goes by where I am not called shy by somebody. I've probably been called shy about 500 to 1,000 times in my life, from the age of 4 to now. No matter how much I talk, no matter how loud I am or quiet I am, I'm always called shy. And I'm not shy. I have social anxiety, but do I tell that to people? No. Yeah, if you have social anxiety, you are called shy all the time. People ask you the exact phrase, "Why are you so quiet?" all the time. People just make those comments all the time. I hate it when people say, "Why are you so quiet?" How am I supposed to answer that question? I always just answer it with an awkward laugh. You probably know this, but I have an entire video on my channel called "Why Are You So Quiet?"
Because how do you expect me to answer that? Should I say, I don't know? Or I kind of want to yell at them for asking such a stupid question. Most of the time I'm not talking to them because, one, I have nothing to say, or two, they weren't involving me in their conversation. I hate
Exactly. I don't like hanging out with people unless I know them really, really well. And I don't like social situations. Doesn't really matter what it is. I don't like small talk. And last but not least, I don't like dancing in front of people. So there you have it. Things that I don't like. Thanks for watching this episode of Social Anxiety Confessions. Wow, that was the video. As you can see, I have really grown a lot when it comes to struggling with social anxiety. I hope you guys enjoyed this little reaction video. I actually really liked doing this. I really liked it. So if you guys enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, stick around, check out all of the other Social Anxiety Confessions videos that I have up there. I will see you guys again very soon with a brand new video. Bye.